This is Tilted Podcast.
Coming in hot. Welcome, guys. We are back for yet another week without old Brad. It seems like Brad also claimed some sort of injury for Miami's downfall. But
No.
old
Is that what you
MJ's
guys said last week? That's what you said about me, right? The Raiders lost, so I didn't show up.
Yeah, no. I think Brad
That's what
mentioned
you guys
that,
had to say.
but at the end of the day, I did jump the bandwagon on the team. Now I still think the defense is going to be great. I told you that from day one. But they go in there and they beat Baltimore. How awesome!
See,
What a great day for football. What a great day. Well, we got a couple things we
really
want to
was.
cover. We got to go over some injuries, big injuries for a lot of teams. A lot of craziness for some of these teams that have not been winning in the last couple of years. And going to go ahead and fall into our picks as we always do. So we'll go ahead and float on over here and start talking about the first thing that comes up on this screen. It's Derek Carr. I think Anthony called this like in the first episode about how good Derek Carr was going to lead this league and team.
Yeah, I did, and I think the Saints are rolling right now. And last year they finished the season 5-1. 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's finally healthy. Last year was a uncharacteristic injury plagued season for him. So he had, a shoulder, a rib, and all kinds of stuff. And he fought through it all. Finally gets a little healthy towards the end of the season. They end up with 9 wins, and then I kind of felt like that. They have a new offensive coordinator that was going to carry over to this year, and then here we are, and they have put up 44 points or 40 points in both games, and he is by far leading the very early MVP race, in my opinion.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
It's funny we talk about that, old Louis Armstrong coming in when the Saints go marching in, It's definitely been a wild ride for them. Quarterback ranking, Derek Carr's at the top. He's got a 76% completion rate. He's 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. The 11 yards attempts is high. 11 yards, that's a lot. Every pass is 11 yards. That's pretty impressive. They get a first down every time. I'm pretty sure I saw something today that said that they have scored on every possession, every offensive possession they have scored.
Yeah, I think it's 15 straight possessions. 15 straight possessions, Derek Carr's, when he's in, he's getting. And then the secret part of this team that a lot of people don't think about is their defense. They signed Chase Young, who adds depth at the end. They have Cameron Jordan. They have Tyrann Mathieu. Their defense are veterans, smart, physical. When you can hold Dallas to 19 points and then you could put 40 plus on Dallas's defense, you're doing something right. That's not very fluky in my opinion. I think that's
not at all.
When Dallas's defense is no joke with Mike Zimmer as defensive coordinator, and then you hold Dak and CD Lamb tonight below 20 points. That's proof in the pudding right there early on.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. We'll see how long it holds though. Like you said, the coordinator situation, there's a lot of good plays going on. We'll see. Let the NFL study, like we've always agreed. You can't jump too early. It's only week 3, only week 3. We got to pump the brakes, guys. Remember, there's a lot of teams, we look at Baltimore dropping dropping down to 0-2. Like, are we going to sit there and say Baltimore is out of the running? Like, definitely not. The one team
I don't know, and I got to tell you something about that. We talk about Baltimore. I spent a good amount of time in Baltimore. Well, I spent only Sunday in Baltimore, but I spent several days with my best friend Mark, who's a diehard Ravens fan, and then had some really good conversations with a lot of Ravens folks over the weekend, and they are concerned. And it's not necessarily about the 0-2, is their offensive line is not very good. Their offensive line is not very good. They have Ronnie Staley at tackle. But outside of that, their guards, they are suspect. And they were my buddy was telling me about it all week. And I said, well, that's the only chance the Raiders have because that's the Raiders' strength is the D-line. And sure as shit, the offense came in, but when the the Ravens get the ball back at 4 minutes to go. Very first play they do is Max Crosby rolls a stunt right at the right guard and
Yeah,
goes in untouched.
I watched that.
Like,
That
it's
was
just,
amazing.
I'm telling you, like, from the concern that the fans were talking to me about, and then I seen it on the, like, this could, if they don't shore that up, this could be a long season for Baltimore, and they are staring 0-4 in the face if they don't get it right against Dallas this week, because they host the Buffalo Bills in week 4. So
This
if
is
they don't if they
definitely
don't get it right if they don't get it right quick, that offensive line could really slow them down. And they're rolling in to face Micah Parsons this week on that defensive line. That is scary.
it is definitely the Lamar show. Like let's really look at if Lamar Jackson isn't perfect and doesn't do everything under the sun of running the ball and passing the ball, they're not going to win. If he is, it's you just look at it like they brought in Derrick Henry. The dude's only conjured up 130 yards in 2 games. Lamar Jackson, I think, if I'm not mistaken, looking at my list here, Lamar Jackson is like
Probably
ninth,
has more
ninth
than
on the list at 167.
yeah.
Ninth on the list.
And I'm telling you, it's one of those things where Derrick Henry's a wear you down type of player, right? Like, it doesn't matter if he's averaging 2 or 3 yards a carry, because you're eventually at 2 or 3 is going to turn into 5 or 6 because you're going
Yep.
to wear him down. But he was getting hit in the backfield. He was getting hit, and getting wrapped up by 2 or 3 people within the first 3 or 4 steps, and he wasn't able to get it going. And we'll just see what happens this week against that Dallas defensive front, because I mean, if they don't get it going this week, you could be looking at a lost season for the Ravens, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say it now, dude. The Raiders with Patrick Graham, they went in there with a very, very, very great scheme and solid game plan. And it was to completely eliminate the run as best as possible and force Lamar to try to pass the ball with ultimate pressure at all times. Raiders did what they needed to. They came in, they struck. Pretty sure you guys are behind pretty much the whole game. But you still chipped. You never let them get too far. You never let Lamar do Lamar things. But it's crazy to think Lamar's got 520 passing yards, which is good for 5th in the league. And he's got 9th on the list in rushing. It's crazy a quarterback can do all that and they're still 0-2. It shows you it don't matter if you're MVP solo, you could be the worst quarterback or the greatest quarterback. Let's go look at Sam Darnold. Who ever would have thought Sam Darnold would be doing what he's doing, at this point in his career after being a backup for the last couple seasons? You get him on a good team that's built all the way around with great coaching. Guess what? They win. Gardner Minshew, same thing. Put them on a good team. And I do think the Raiders have it. It's just right there. The defense is young. They're starting to build. Let them, man. I everybody hates it. I do see the Raiders really upsetting some teams this year and possibly making playoffs. And everybody doesn't want that because it's all Chiefs. Just like this referee here, who's obviously a diehard Chief fan.
Man, I don't know. I'm gonna jump on this one because, and I got into some Facebook arguments with people this week, some of which were Chiefs fans and some were not. I could be wrong here, and I really wanted Brad and not the crying dolphin image here tonight to discuss this exact point. I could be wrong, and I want to clip this part out, and we're gonna put this as a short because I want a ton of feedback on this. I've always heard if the ball is in the air, the defender has the same right to the ball as the receiver. So when those two collide, it's not like they collided and he knocked them over. They were going for the football. The receiver was going for the football. The defender was going for the football, and they ran into each other. They did run into each other early, or he ran into the receiver early, but they were going for the football. It's the same case and the same situation when you hear like a throw down the sideline and they get thrown for pass interference, a flag thrown for pass interference because they didn't get their head turned around and they weren't going for the ball. Whereas like if they just push through the defender, it's pass interference. But if they turn their head around and they're going for the ball, they're like, hey, he's trying for the ball. He ran into each other. It is what it is. Like you hear that all the time. Oh, he didn't get his head around. If he gets his head around, goes for the ball, that's not pass interference. I think this is the same thing. It's the same thing. He was up and going for the ball. He jumped for the ball, ran right into the defender, definitely got there early, but it was an attempt to catch the ball. I don't think it's pass interference. Genuinely, I don't think it is.
So the two rules that I've looked at, and unfortunately the NFL playbook on the website is garbage. It doesn't give you a full detailed. From whatever I've ever learned of playing the sport myself, and from watching enough college and watching enough NFL, if the players are focused on the football and they are going for the ball, it is not. They're fighting for the ball. Now, if you reach up and hinder a receiver or a defender from going to the ball, that is considered pass interference. If they both jump up in the
Unless
air,
you were going for the ball.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, but you still can't reach over and smack his arms and try to reach for the ball.
Yeah.
You can't
So,
hinder their attempt.
Example, that Chiefs guy's going for the ball. Bengals guy comes up from behind and just like hits him early. Pass interference. Chiefs guy's going for the ball. Bengals guy's also going for the ball and runs into him.
Yeah.
And that's not pass interference. It's that I don't think that's pass interference. And I think it's one of those ones that's very close. And a lot of people can be like, oh, the refs just give KC the game. And like I think that, but the play before that, there was a holding they didn't call, which is a typical Chiefs thing. I just think tie goes to the Chiefs. You know, the old baseball term, tie goes to the runner.
Yeah.
If it can go either way, it's gonna go towards the fucking Chiefs. It's gonna go towards Mahomes. It's gonna go towards the face of the league, and it makes me fucking sick.
The only thing when I watched that play over and over, which I just watched it again, the only thing that I can see why the call was made is because the player came over the back of the other player. It's not like they were running side by side and jumped up, or it was like a jump. He stopped it. It was slowing in his tracks to turn to catch, and the guy barreled over the back of him. Yes, he was going for the ball.
When the barreling happened, what was he doing?
Going for the ball.
Going for the ball.
Yeah, and
dude, he has the same right to the ball as the receiver.
Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, I don't think the flag needs to be thrown there. It shouldn't be. That determined a game. That changed the whole dynamic of the game on that one play. And these refs are they're taught to call. Yeah.
For me, a lot of people on the internet assumed I was only saying that because it was the Chiefs and because of my hatred for the Chiefs and all that. But I genuinely, from my understanding of the rule of pass interference and how they call it on the sideline, that's a big hindrance to me. Yeah. I hear it all the time on the sideline. If they're running down and the defender doesn't get their head turned around, pass interference because he's not going for the ball. If that defender turns around and goes for the ball and runs right over the receiver, hey, he was going for the ball. It's no pass interference. So when I see that happen, I think, man, that's like, I genuinely, from my understanding of the rule, do not think that's pass interference. Has nothing to do with the fact that it's the Chiefs. It just icing on the cake, though.
We can all say it. Fuck the Chiefs.
God, they fucking irk my nerves, dude.
You know what? I'm when I see the Chiefs 2-0 and I see them beat my Niners, I just look like Tua here on the ground, just concussed and scared for everything happening. Unfortunately,
speaking of that, man,
that guy, man, and I've already heard he's full gore to come back. He don't want to quit playing football. And I'm just sitting here thinking Aaron Hernandez, and I'm thinking Antonio Brown, and I'm like, brother, you got a whole life ahead of you. Like, you're paid.
Well,
like
I think me and you talked about it too, and I think this is like such a weird time for this to happen. And we've talked a lot about contracts, and we've talked a lot about holdouts. We talked about fuck holdouts, and they're doing this and they're doing that. What are they bitching about? $3 million. There's a whole other layer to these contracts that we don't think about. And it comes to like injury guarantee.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about that. You're right.
Like I think he's owed now over $80 million or something just based off of the injury guarantee. And the team's insured. So it's kind of like this is layers to this negotiations that happen, and it's for a reason. And he got the contract. He has more than enough money. And I think his coach said it the same, dude. Go be the starting quarterback of your family. And like go coach football somewhere. Go start a football league in Hawaii, wherever you're from. Like, man, I don't know. I just that was scary. I've seen it happen to him before. and I hated seeing it, and I knew as soon as it happened that what was going to happen.
Yeah. And it's not a normal concussion because I've seen players get concussed, jump up, and they're kind of a little wobbly, but they run off the field. These are like full blown like loss of consciousness. Like he has
Yeah.
no idea what's happening. His body's I can't remember what the terminology of it was when he did that reach. It's actually a defensive mechanism your body does to protect you from falling. It's literally just your body telling you to protect. And it's man, I really do pray for him and hope, hope all is good.
Yeah.
And he
Two
does,
young kids, I think
yeah,
two kids, 2 and under, a boy and a girl. I did a lot of reading on him. Like he's always been a really good guy. I remember him in college. I remember Saban singing his praises. Like I just, family man, like just you got to think long term. And Antonio Pierce came out and said he would tell him to retire. I felt the same way. As soon as it happened on Thursday night, I said he needs to retire. Like hang it up, man. And yeah, prayers, T's and P's for him for sure.
yeah. Well, other than that, we got one
Last
more.
topic. Well, hold on, man. I know we talked about it a little bit.
That's what I was saying.
We're going on.
I'm going back to him. I'm going back to our boy down here at the
Are you going
bottom.
back to him?
Yeah. Yes.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad they beat Baltimore, taking down a fucking giant. As the Raiders are treated as like the misfits and that they're not good enough to be in the NFL kind of team for some reason. Me and you go back and forth all year when I call you when my team loses or, a couple Super Bowls that you've called me and we've talked. And it's, I think you guys are going the right direction. Like I said, this team fights for this fucking coach. They fight for this coach. And this dude's on the sideline. Dude, I watched his when they're in the tunnel before they come out, and Pierce is jumping around, punching people in the chest in their freaking pads, and he's getting just as hype as a regular player was. They're all looking at each other like, why aren't we as hyped? And they just start jumping. Like, that's what you want from a young coach. He's earned the respect from this entire team, and he said he will go to battle and die for these guys, and it's showing right now. It really is. Max Crosby said it best. I have one of the best coaches I've ever had in my career playing ball. That's what he came out and said.
Yeah, I said it to my buddy on the way into Baltimore on Sunday morning. I go, the Raiders are 1-11 in East Coast 10 a.m. games. They travel to the East Coast, all these things. And I said, but like this is a different culture. And I said this on the podcast. I said this is a different culture. It's the best culture I've ever seen in a Raiders team in over 20 years. And the attitude, the mindset, the hard hat mentality, like that's real stuff. And I think the holding people accountable and not accepting less, like we obviously struggled on offense week 1, struggled on offense the first half. And I don't know if you caught this or if you're able to watch the game, but there was 2 different times when the culture showed its head, and it showed the team, the mindset, or at least the culture they're building. Going out the halftime, Luke Getzey is our offensive coordinator, and Antonio Pierce walks up to him, and you obviously don't know what was said, but you can writing on the wall, right? The stares, the looks, the conversation, the intenseness, like it was like it's time to get our shit together. It wasn't like, hey, we'll talk about this after the game. No, halfway through the game, it's time to go. Then before that, in the second quarter, when Minshew throws that interception, Max Crosby walks up to Minshew and you can hear him. He's hitting him on his chest and you can see his lips saying, like, you're the fucking man. You're the man. Like, pretty much, like, let's go. And it gets Minshew fired up. It's one of those things where, like, this team isn't going to settle for that shit. Is this shit going to happen? Are we going to have tough quarters? Or, obviously Minshew is a marginal quarterback. Everyone thinks at least. Like, so we might have, like, struggles on offense, but we're not going to accept it. And we're not going to continue to just move and be like week after week, oh, our offense sucks. Our offense sucks. Like, we're not going to accept this. And that starts from the head coach to the leaders with Devontae and, and Max Crosby. And then it just trickles down, like the personality of this team is very different than any team I've seen the Raiders have in over 20 years.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Where my real worry though is for the Raiders is your guys' run offense. It is very, very struggle. I think if you can write that, it lifts mountains off of Minshew's shoulders, allows him to play action better, play the ball better. It's not, hey, Minshew, by the way,
Yep.
you're number 2 in the NFL for passing yards because we're down the entire time. You know?
Yep.
And I like if they can figure out how to get that run offense going, I don't think you guys are over 100. You guys are at 68
No.
rushing yards as your running backs. As Amir White running back, excuse me. I don't know if there's anybody else running the ball behind him, but
Alexander Madison's getting some passes out of the backfield, but like I think as a collectively as a fan base, we're kind of circling this weekend as a chance to get the run game going.
yeah, it needs to.
Unfortunately, we've played from behind, and although we came back and great win on Sunday against the Ravens, when you play from behind, the offense changes, and
100%.
so yeah, I mean, I think we get ourselves a lead, and but kudos to Gardner for keeping us in it, man, and making some plays with his legs and getting out of the pocket and introducing the world to Brock fucking Bowers.
Brock Bowers, baby. I got that guy in a couple fantasy leagues.
I told everybody we're gonna clip this part too. I told everybody, David Colucci, Raider Lucci, you're the one. I told you on draft night when this fan base was so pissed they took a tight end. Not necessarily David, but a lot of people were so pissed they took a tight end. I said, you guys are going to love him. I said by week 6, you're gonna love this guy. You're gonna love this kid. And we're week 2, and I can't keep his jersey on the shelf, dude.
As a Niner fan, I can speak mountains on this. George Kittle is an absolute stud, and they're game changers when you have a tight end that isn't scared to throw blocks. You got a tight end that isn't scared to get down and dirty, and then he's guess what? Grabbing a football, lowering his shoulder, and making some plays. It opens your offense up. It protects your quarterback. Not only do you have a dump pass to your left to your running back, you got a dump pass to your right to your tight end. It literally opens your offense. If you guys get that running game going.
I mean, he's out there running wide receiver routes. So.
At this
he's
point,
out there going deep. Like he's just a mismatch. He's on linebackers. Linebackers are covering him, and he's the Travis Kelce. Too. He's the mismatch, man, and he's and the one part of this, I think a lot of people made a big deal about when he was drafted because I think his family's like born and raised like Niner fans, and he's from like the Bay Area, and the dad didn't seem happy in the locker room. They hit him with the Raider chant. AP goes to Brock Bowers for it. So I think he's a foundational piece for this team, and I'm looking forward to him being a Raider for 15 years, man. I'm so excited for that kid.
He definitely looks awesome, and I love a good tight end. I've had the pleasure of having George Kittle as the Niners tight end and watching him.
Yes,
and
sir.
A guy like that is just, man, locker room game changers. He's obviously 100%. Going to be. He's gonna George Kittle. I can't remember. I watched a little interview with him. They was talking about Brock Bowers and how he's a part of the tight end university. As the tight end day, and he already said that kid's going to be special. When you get excited to pancake a player on the line, you're going to be a good tight end. That's plain simple.
Yep,
when they're not scared to be, hardcore and aggressive, it's awesome. But I'm excited, man. It's going to be a good another week. Pray to God.
Let me get us into this next one.
Oh gosh,
I'm gonna tee you up here.
All right.
NFC West. I think leading into this thing, a lot of us had the Rams and Niners, right? As the leaders in the clubhouse are going to the playoffs or whatever. And I think we blinked and the Rams are completely fall apart. Like they are being dismantled one player at a time. Arizona looks like someone that can really play. And the Niners, I don't really know what to make of the Niners or the Seahawks at this point. So what the hell's wrong with your 49ers, man?
Well, all right. So this is just an opinion. I've watched a lot of 49ers in my lifetime. Christian McCaffrey's out. We talked about this. Yes. Jordan Mason is the number 2 rusher in the NFL right now. He's got the number 2 in yards. The dude's a beast. The team's built for a good run game, and you just need to run hard. But me and you talked. It's not Christian McCaffrey. At the end of the day, Gardner Minshew's having a great start of the season. But would you not rather have Patrick Mahomes? we talk conversations. Having those names, it's a name, but them in the backfield changes defensive game plans. They don't worry about the run as much because it's not Christian McCaffrey, so we don't worry about the dump passes or the screen passes as often. Now Debo went out, which me and you've had a very lengthy conversation on Debo.
Oh, God.
You cannot be paid this much in the NFL and be hurt every fucking year, man. It's just an Achilles heel to a team. He's taken money from the team and he's not even on the field I don't need every game. Fuck, at least give me one full season. And he has yet to do that. And it's scary. It's like
your best ability is availability.
exactly.
And that dude's availability is always in question. And maybe it's not like, oh, he's definitely out this game, but he's only 60%, 70%. Like he's not even fully available for the games that he's there because he is just an injury. He's a shoulder and a hamstring waiting to happen on a play-by-play basis, dude.
And you know it's crazy. I watch him catch the ball and he does these great moves, and then he goes head on with a strong safety or a free safety, and he lowers his shoulder, and then he just lays there. I'm waiting. Is he hurt now? Like it's almost every game you're waiting for him to get hurt, and it's like that shouldn't be a normal thing. That's where, like, when we talked about holdouts, before we jump to that, that's a whole nother little part of this. The Niners defense is supposed to be better this year. They bought into a bunch of players. I don't know what's going on. I think Sarkisian will straighten it out this week. I really do, but there was like 4 third downs and long, 3rd and 7, 4 of them that were easily completed with no problem. At ease. I watched Sam Darnold take this defense and dismantle it in that last drive for 6 minutes to literally secure the game. And that should not happen. If you're a number 1 team that's a Super Bowl contender, you 3rd and 8 twice in the same drive should never happen. You'll never be a Super Bowl team. And
get off the field.
I love Nick Bosa, man, but the last 2 seasons have been very rough for him. He's not showing an MVP caliber player. And it's like, I'm not saying that he's bad, and I'm not saying that he's not MVP. I'm just saying his numbers are down. So what's going on? They need to look a little more into that. But there is something here, and I will say, with the holdouts, Brandon Ayuk here, this guy's got to have a week this week. This has to be the week he's ready to play. He needs to catch balls. He's got 2 touchdown drops, 2 of them. One of them, the best throw a quarterback could ever make in the league. If you're a top quarterback, you make these throws daily. Brock Purdy gave him a pocket pat in his hands, and he dropped it in the end zone. Week 1.
But you're talking about the one against the Jets.
The week 1. I mean, it was like you couldn't have got a better throw. And
that blew my parlay also.
Yeah, it blew. Yeah.
I was 1 catch away from cashing a same game parlay. Pissed off.
Jawan Jennings, I think the dude is unfortunately under 2 big names. The guy just catches the ball when you need him, dude. He's Mr. Clutch. He's always catching the 15-yard, 3rd and 15, and he's just in the middle of the field, wide open. I think we can quietly. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Brock Purdy is settling in as a quarterback that people can be like, damn, this dude continuously trusts his team, continuously throws the ball. He's got over 70% completion. He leads the league in passing yards. He's got an 8.5 average attempt. So he's not throwing dump passes. Like, they were showing a couple of his passes. These are like threaded ass passes between 4 defenders. And he's trusting his wide receiver to be there and catch the ball.
Well, let me say this, man, about Purdy. Now, his stats look good. I think it's very hard for a quarterback, an above average quarterback, to have piss poor stats and a Kyle Shanahan offense with this amount of talent. But if he doesn't start, he's going to have to take, with these injuries, he's going to have to take it up like two steps.
Oh, yeah,
he's going to have to
100%.
take 2 notches and put this team on his back. And I'm looking at the schedule here. And you guys got this week, you got the next 2 weeks to figure it out. And you go to SoFi to play the Rams, and then you host the Patriots. Patriots defense is no joke, but you really have defensively, you have 2 weeks of tune-up. And if you don't get it right in the next 2 weeks, holy hell, you guys are in a gauntlet. You got the
4
Cardinals
games.
who look like world
Yeah,
beaters.
4 games in a row.
You got more than 4 games.
Is it
You
a
got the
6 runner? Is it the
Cardinals, who
6?
all of us,
Go ahead, go ahead,
dude.
go
You
ahead,
got
go
the
ahead, go ahead.
Cardinals, who look like they can compete with anybody. You got the Seahawks, who are undefeated. Then you go and play the Chiefs. Then you got the Cowboys. Then you play the Bucks. And then you play the Seahawks again. Then you play the Packers. Then you play the Bills. And then you play the Bears, whose defense is absolutely no joke. And by then Caleb is super settled in. And then you got like a week or two where it's like you have the injured Rams and the injured Dolphins just to finish off with the Lions and the Cardinals. Like, you got 2 weeks of tune-up on defense,
Yeah.
and then it's fucking go time, dude.
Yeah. Well, I like I said, I'm really hoping Jordan Mason looks phenomenal, though. He does. He looks like he can.
Yeah, he
He
does.
looks like he deserves to be in this league. But at the end of the day, the Niners always seem to make running backs. They find them, dude. Like, we've talked
Yeah.
about them. Go down that list with Raheem Mostert, Elijah Mitchell. Like, you could just go. There's a list. Breida. I can't say his name. Like,
Right.
I need, like you said, I need Brock to be the guy. And I really do think that he can do it. I think that he's comfortable. I just need Brandon Ayuk to catch footballs, do his job and catch footballs, man.
I think the heartbeat of this team falls on Purdy and Ayuk and the defense. That's what it's going to have to be, because I did hear you got 3 more weeks of dude being out, McCaffrey, and Schefter said he'd be shocked if he was back in 3 weeks.
I don't know if the Niners are going to rush him back with the way that Jordan Mason's been running. There's no need to rush the guy back. You've got a massive contract on him. He's worth a lot of money. You want him healthy. But
you peel off 3 wins in a row, you probably let him rest a couple of weeks. You go 1-2 in the next 3 weeks, you probably shit your pants and rush him back.
Yeah,
that'd be
you're
my
not
guess.
wrong. You're not wrong. Ricky Purcell, hopefully he comes back in 2 weeks. Because he's going to be on the field. It sounds like he'll be on the field right away. Especially with Debo just
Samuel
doing Debo things, man.
We'll probably miss more games.
I think
Debo Samuel will probably miss more games.
I think he'll be out 3 to 6 weeks.
Well, what I'm saying is he'll probably miss more games than Ricky, and Ricky got shot through the fucking chest, dude.
Straight in the chest and out.
Yeah, and Debo will probably miss more games.
Yeah,
it's a wild thing.
Sometimes it's there's some players you just got to move along from. And the bad part is, the good part is, I wouldn't be terribly mad if they moved away from him, because sometimes this offense is so focused on Debo. It's like, let these other guys play ball, man. Like why are we so fuck it sucks when those guys go out and your game plan is Debo. Watching that receiver one,
it could be addition by subtraction.
Yeah, watching that receiver one when they're talking about, when Debo went out, our game plan went out. How does that even fucking happen in the NFL, man? That should not be a thing.
Yeah.
Should not. All right. Anything else?
To get to these picks?
Yeah, I'm ready to get these picks. Let's fall down here. So Brad had taken off on us in that first week, right?
Yeah, he had a couple game lead.
And he had a couple game lead, and he had now plummeted and shit the bed and looked like old MJ over here crying his life away. It was not a good week. Me and you were pretty damn similar. I think, like I said, I think we had the Pittsburgh Steelers game difference. So right now, if you look at the overall record, we're pretty tight. We're pretty tight. So
it's tight there. It'll be interesting to see how this keeps going. Obviously, as we identify more about the teams and learn more, and I think there's a couple of, and I'll highlight them. I think there's a couple of measuring stick games that we're going to find out a lot about these teams this week, and it'll influence going forward. In my opinion, there's about 3 or 4 games that I think we're going to look at the end of the season. We're going to look back at this game and go, I knew then. So
yeah,
we'll get in. Yeah, let's get going.
So let's go ahead and jump right on here. Hold on one second. I was trying to see something. I was kind of backwards. There we go. All right. So the first week, or the first set of games we got, which is going to be this Thursday night, it's going to be the New York Jets taking on the New England Patriots. This is in New York, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I believe the Patriots are on the road traveling to North Jersey to hit up Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Jets are 6.5-point favorites. Horton, who you got there?
And you know what? This is in my opinion, I know the Patriots defense is strong. This is a get right week for me for Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. So I really do think the Jets come in here and they put it on them. I'm going to take the Jets plus the 6. I think the Jets are going to win with the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I look at this number and I see 6.5, and that scares the shit out of me. 6.5, like to me, makes me think Vegas wants you to take it because it's only a touchdown, and I think it'll be closer than that. And I think if I'm betting this, I probably tease it to a field goal game. I like the Jets to win the game, but I am gonna go ahead and I don't know. This is gonna be the best defense that the Patriots have faced. So
Yes.
I don't necessarily think this is going to be a put it on them game. I think it's a 6 to 10 point game with maybe the Jets pulling away like a 24-10 or 27-13, something like that. I also am going to go ahead and take the Jets and a half, but it would not surprise me at all if it was closer. And our crying Dolphin guy over there actually is on the Patriots plus 6 or plus 6.5.
Oh,
So he
okay.
thinks
So
it's gonna be a tight game as well.
yeah,
So
I do like you said. Looking at the rush, the Jets need to get a lot right this week offensively. The run game needs to happen, and the pass game needs to
yeah,
happen. They've been struggling.
yeah.
Uh,
I think this game is a little bit more about this is the best defense the Patriots offense has seen.
yes,
So I don't see them putting up a lot of points. I don't see them putting up 17 to 20 points. I see it being them being in the 10 to 13 range, maybe 14. So I do see it being like a 24 to 14, maybe a 21 to 14 game, something like that. So I do like the touchdown strictly because of the Jets defense rather than the
yeah.
offense.
I need Garrett Wilson to have 150 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Don't we all, brother?
No,
Don't
we
we
all.
all?
Right.
So going to your favorite team of the week, Minnesota Vikings,
Fuck
and your
off.
boy Sam Darnold. The Texans are actually going to Minnesota and are 2.5 point favorites. Bradley, the Houston guys, taking Houston minus 2.5. What do you got?
Yeah, I like Houston here. They stouted their run game. Their defense is, I mean, D'Amico Ryan's, excuse me, is a defensive minded coach, and he's really good. This team's built, man. This team's scary, and I really don't think the NFL is ready to understand how good this team's gonna be. And they're young, and they brought in a veteran
Yeah,
receiver
they are
who's got
young.
this veteran receiver. Stephon Diggs came in with an attitude change, and it's a fucking thing that they never saw in Buff. This guy's walking on the sideline, pumping up the studs, pumping up the line. He didn't do that shit in Buffalo. He didn't give a fuck. He's doing this in Houston though. He's ready to win. He wants to win a Super Bowl. That's his goal, and I think he believes in his team. I think they win by a touchdown. I think they win by 10 points, in my opinion. But I like Minnesota, man. They're no
Well,
slouches. They're no slouches.
I mean,
But
I
I
think
think
Minnesota can score points. I think they score points
maybe,
on them. I
but
do.
I think the Niner game. You got to think about this. The Niners and Sarkisian and D'Amico Ryans. They all worked with each other. There's a lot of similarities. I think you look at film and Houston can be like, oh shit, this is what they did wrong. This is what they shouldn't have done. This is what they allowed. Let Sam Darnold sit in the pocket, bro, and throw a ball. He's gonna throw a ball. He's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
You give him time to
Uh,
throw the ball, he's gonna throw it. He has Justin Jefferson. Like he just put the ball there. The guy's gonna make plays.
Yeah. I also like the Texans to win, but man, it would not surprise me at all if this was 23-23 and that 2.5 comes from a last minute field goal. The Vikings defense is really good. And they got a lot of young players. That defense is really coming along. And I mean, look at last week. I lost bets because I went with Texans over the Bears minus 6.5 or something like that. And the Bears held them to 19 points. And I think
Yeah.
Minnesota's defense is better than the Bears. So like it wouldn't surprise me at all if this was like a 17-17 ball game coming down the stretch, something like that. I am gonna lean Texans. If this was 3.5, I'd probably go Minnesota. So getting in at 2.5, I go Houston, but it scares me.
Yep.
It does scare me.
Well, jumping into this next one, your old favorite pump up team, New Orleans, and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
What do you got here, bud?
This is a measuring stick game. This is one of the
Yes,
ones
yes,
I
it
highlighted,
is.
and I think this tells Eagles are pissed, right? They let primetime Kirk Cousins come into their house on opening night. Boy, I know those Philly fans were fucking drunk and mad. Our buddy Jack Dunn, Big Bark, had to have been punching his. I mean, he was probably punching his TV, man. And I think that uh, I'm gonna go Saints. I'm on the Saints -2.5. But boy, this is a measuring stick game. If the Saints come out and put it on them, like they've been putting it on, like they put it on Dallas, like Saints got to be Super Bowl favorites at this point. With if they come out and do it again to Philly,
Yeah.
yeah, it's no slouch. But I'm on the Saints.
You seem to be having some connection issues. I got you looking high as a kite right now, brother. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
Yes, there we go. It looked like you're coming back a little bit, but yeah, you're starting to jump in and out. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I'm taking New Orleans. This is one of those games. I love Philly. I love Philly if they're in Philly. I think that in New Orleans, this team is gonna be rocking. That stadium's gonna be rocking. It's gonna be a close. I really do think a field goal game. I do think a field goal game.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. I feel the same way about the Texans and the Saints game. Had this been 3.5, I'd probably go Philly because I think the best thing that can happen to this team right now is to get the hell out of Philly after Monday night. Get away from that fan base. Go on the road. Regroup. Man, I don't know.
That defense choked. That defense choked, bro. At the end of that game, that was the only thing that changed that game was that drive. That last drive.
I'm gonna stick with it, man. But I'm telling you, like, Philly's getting the hell away from that crowd for a week or so, and trying to get right on the road and make them happy before they come home.
What did old Bobby Boy Brad have?
I think he went Eagles. He went Eagles.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
So,
golly,
we
got
the Giants and Browns.
Yeah, bad versus
Browns 6-point favorites.
Bad versus bad. Man, I don't know. Cleveland just confuses me, dude. They just confuse me. I have no idea.
You're taking the words out of my mouth.
Like,
dude.
I don't know. I can't trust them. I know the Giants. I mean, they played better this week, but still, like, I think they're.
I'm on the Giants.
I'm in the same boat. Cleveland just has yet to even make me think twice about betting for them.
Yeah.
I do,
and with 6 points. Like,
I
don't know
think,
if that offense is.
I do think Cleveland wins.
Win by 6.
Yeah, I do think Cleveland wins, but I think it's by 3.
Yeah,
so I'm taking the Giants.
I agree.
Plus,
I'm on the Giants also, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think the Giants go into Cleveland and beat them. Like, I know they don't look that good, but like, you know who the Giants are. I have no idea. Cleveland is a mess.
Yeah.
And I think I'm taking Giants with the points. I think it could be close. Like, it would not surprise me at all.
What does old Braddy boy got?
Brownies.
Got the
Brownies. He's on the Browns. He's taking the touchdown.
Taking the touchdown. Taking old massage rub down, huh?
He is taking massage rub down. So.
Oh man. Well, this could be a great week. I'm excited. Flop back over. We got the Chargers and Steelers. Surprise, Steelers.
Measuring stick game.
Yeah, this is also definitely one of those games where you just don't know. I mean, I think we have an idea who the Chargers are going to be. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. We know the mindset. We know where they want to go, what they want to do. J.K. Dobbins is looking like a freaking beast right now. Like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
A lot of fantasy people missed out on that one, didn't they?
Yeah. He was late, and a lot of people, were grabbing him late. For me, it's like what Jim Harbaugh wants to do falls right into the fucking den of what the Steelers do.
Yeah.
And TJ Watt and the defensive line and that defense, man, I don't like Herbert's didn't practice today. He has an ankle. So is he going to be slow? He's not going to be as mobile. And are these guys going to be able to pin their ears back? I don't know. I'm on the Steelers. -2 at home. I just think it falls right into what Harbaugh wants to do is the strength of the Steelers. And I just don't know if it's I think the Steelers get this one.
I think I'm gonna go with Chargers. Only reason is because they still have Justin Fields as their quarterback. This
Yeah,
is
I
a this is
agree.
a it's a big game. This is, like you said, a measuring stick game. And can Justin Fields this game will change my mind about Fields. Is if he can get in there, go in there, manage it correctly, not cause turnovers, and not look like a fool. I think he could man, I don't know. Pittsburgh's defense
Yeah,
is so goddamn good.
I think that's where like the measuring stick comes in on both sides. Like, can Fields actually generate offense to not win 13-6 or 15-10 or like they won the last couple of weeks? And also, can the Chargers offense put something together against a defense like this?
Yes.
And that's where it's like if the Chargers come out and still run the ball and put up points on this defense, then the Chargers are the real deal. And they're going to be 3-0, and people need to start talking about them like a legitimate contender. But I think it's going to be a struggle bus for that, man. I just think that defense is rough.
Yeah. What about the Bradster?
Oh, he aligns with you. He's taking the Chargers with 2 points. So he likes the Chargers on the road. The other part of this thing is I know that the Chargers played in Carolina last week and did stay on the East Coast. So they've stayed on the East Coast all week. They did not travel back and then travel again. So that kind of eliminates that thing. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh's not an easy place to play. And I think this defense is going to be coming for
That
them.
defense is definitely stout.
Yeah. We got the Broncos going to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay looks really good. 6.5-point favorites. Another one of those 6.5. I call them the hook games. Like, they want you to take it. Do they want you to take the touchdown and they're going to keep it close? Like, me and Brad are both on the Bucks here. I just think they're too good to not take the
I'm
six
right
and a
with
half.
you.
But
I'm right with you.
yeah,
I think Bo Nix needs a lot. Bo Nix got a lot to learn.
Anytime I see 6.5, my antennas go up, regardless. So it scares me. But yeah, Brad, we're all aligned there on the Bucks. Bears at Colts.
This is a funky game, man.
Yeah, I think you said it 100% right. I'm
It's
not
a
betting this.
funky game.
You couldn't get me to bet money on this game. In general, I have them. These will not be in my parlays this week. This will not be at all. Brad is on the Colts getting favored by 1. I don't know.
I'm on the Colts too. I think this is a Anthony Richardson moment. He needs to it's a good tough defense, very tough defense. He needs to start throwing the ball and protecting the ball better. He threw 3 interceptions last week. Not so good. I think this is a good get right game for him because fortunately for him, I don't think the Bears offense generates enough points to he just needs to sustain it. Caleb Williams, I mean, he looked better, but man, NFL's a lot faster, guy. It's a lot faster.
I do think a lot of the things that we talked about with Caleb Williams being like, well, he's cocky, he's arrogant, this and that. Like, he came out this week and was like, there's a few critical mistakes I made that will never happen again.
Yeah.
So I think he's owning it. I think that defense is legit. And I'm gonna take the Bears to win outright on the road.
I like it.
The Bears.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's 50-50. Like, it don't really matter. There's no at one point, Packers Titans. Malik Willis, man.
I feel like this is probably the trap of the week.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The Titans look awful. Will Levis looks awful. The Packers prove they can run the hell out of the ball. They don't care. They don't need Jordan Love right now. They can just run it down people's throats. And the Packers are underdogs.
Yeah, I don't know.
By 2.5. I'm got the Packers.
I'm also on the Packers bus here.
Yeah, I'll take it. And we get points. Like, we get 2.5 points to go with it. Like, I'll take them to win outright. I don't even need the damn points.
Well, and Malik Willis came out and he said some really good things. Yeah, he's not the greatest quarterback. We really don't know much about him other than what he did in college, right? But at the end of the day, like this team is built to win now. Their star quarterback goes down. Like they're not a team that can't not win. They can set up screens and run the game, run ball good, and not put Willis in a position to make mistakes. It's different. That Titans are terrible.
Yeah.
Like they need a
Well,
quarterback.
Malik Willis, this is Malik Willis' revenge game also.
Oh yes,
So
100%.
he was drafted by the Titans, and he really was never really given a fair shake. It was kind of a shitty situation there. But yeah, dude, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the freaking Titans go on and win this thing by like 7. Like
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me. Like that number's so weird to me. So I
yeah.
don't know. We'll
What
see.
did what did Brad Pickle move us on over?
Oh, Brad's on the Packers. We're a Packers sweep here.
Packers sweep. All right, guys. Sorry,
Packers.
we cut it a little short on the outside, but it's gonna be Panthers
Yeah.
and Raiders, and the Panthers just look dog awful. Golly.
I do think they get a step up this week with Andy Dalton.
I
I
do,
think,
I do,
yeah, I think so.
but I also do think that Andy Dalton is about to go play one of the better defenses in the NFL who like to hit quarterbacks. Because Max Crosby absolutely devoured old Lamar Jackson last week, excuse me.
Yeah.
I got Raiders. Here to cover, and I think
I do too. I got
Gardner
the
Minshew
Raiders.
goes off. I really do think Gardner Minshew gets to go off.
I do too. I think he's a good little DFS fantasy play this week. I also think Zamir White's going to have a big game. And this is another thing we talked about the Raiders being like, oh, same old Raiders, right? And it being like, historically, this would be such a Raider thing to happen. They go off a big road win on the East Coast, come home opener, everybody's jazzed, and then they lose to the Panthers. Like, or keep it, or barely. Like, that would be an old, shitty mentality Raider team to happen. But we've talked about it. This culture is not the same. This culture is very different. This is not your, not the same old Raiders. So, yeah, I'm on the Raiders also.
Next game going to be
Dolphins.
Seattle and Dolphins.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw you a curveball here, and I'm taking Dolphins purely because we need to talk something real quick. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, Seattle looks great." Seattle beat Denver Broncos 26-20, and they turn around and beat the Patriots 23-20, right? So, yes, they've put up points. Both of these games were fourth quarter games. I think the run game
overtime.
Yeah. Excuse me. And so I think Miami and Ty Thompson, I think that it's a very good. I think the Dolphins are a good team. Their quarterback is hurt, and they've got a good run game. Like I think I could see the Dolphins going in here and squeaking a win out. In Seattle, I know Seattle can be good. I think that it's a new coach. I think they started off with great two teams to start the season off with. A weak Denver Broncos and a very weak offense in New England. Defense is good in New England. You're not wrong there, but everybody expects DK Metcalf, in that offense to do their thing. But their starting running backs hurt, right? Walker's out. He didn't play. I don't think he played last week, and they squeezed a win out. I don't know, man. I just see the Dolphins. I think I like Thompson, man. I think he's going to do a little bit of work over there and just play ball and let that run game do what it needs to do. Throw Tyreek Hill the damn ball, brother.
I don't think that curveball is as good as you think. We're all on the Dolphins this week.
Okay.
I think Devon Achen's really good. I think they're going to get they're not going to be able to throw the ball downfield, but I think you're going to get the ball and waddle into Hill's hands. And I do agree. I'm not a Seahawk believer. I almost before the first couple games, like I could have seen them being in the top 5 to top 7 pick in the draft and the quarterback, fiesta next year during the draft where there's other teams going to be looking for them. Like I'm not a believer in them. Charbonnet looks good. Don't get me wrong. So I don't think the running back miss is that big of a deal. But I 5 points. I think you put the ball in Devon Aitchen's hands and Tyreek Hill's hands, and you can cover those 5 pretty easily.
Yeah. It was definitely an unfortunate game, for Miami last week playing the Bills on a short week. It just didn't look good. But when you know Skylar Thompson coming in, he didn't do very too hot. But man, I just like
Hey,
Aitchen.
that was a tough situation for
Oh
anybody to
yeah,
come
you
in and
getting
try
your
to do
butt
well.
kicked.
I think Mike McDaniel's gonna have a good game plan for them. Put the ball in Aitchen's hand and Tyreek's hands, and I think they go on the road and get a win. If I'm
Oh,
being honest.
Kingpin McDaniels, baby, I love it.
Yeah, Kingpin. The
uh,
next is another measuring stick
oh
game.
yeah, this is
This
a sucker bet right here. It's another one I won't
this
touch.
this is a fork in the road game, in my opinion, for these guys. Like Cowboys lose their 1-2, Ravens lose their 0-3. Um, that O line of the Ravens versus Micah Parsons is scary, man. But
I got Dallas here.
I got the Ravens, and I just think I just like the Ravens better. I think they're a better team, and Brad is also on the cow patties, as he put the cow patties.
Yeah,
So
I hate
I'm on an island here.
I hate rooting for the Cowboys, but it always seems to be when the Cowboys get stomped or embarrassed, they always come back out and do pretty well the next week. I
Yeah.
think their run game is a problem, in my opinion. I think that nobody's very scared of the run game for the Cowboys.
I agree.
But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a game. I just won't put money on this game if I have any parlays. I just don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Hardball teams don't like to lose back to backs. And they've
Yeah,
already lost 2 in a row. So
yeah.
I don't know. My money's on Hardball, Lamar, and Derrick Henry to get it right. So
I want Baltimore to go 0-3. Down with the fucking Ravens, baby.
we got your Niners going to LA
This is a weird one too. I hate 7.5.
to play a team that is just like completely decimated in LA. I'm on the Niners. I think you have to take the Niners. I don't think there's any way around it. I don't think anybody loves the 7.5 number. I think everyone's kind of scared of it. But the Rams are just decimated. Every day there's a new person on IR. So I'm on the Niners. So is Brad.
I'm also on the Niners here. This is a weird one because playing the Rams is always that interdivision is always hard. It's something about playing that team all the time, but I don't know who the hell Sam. Yeah, I mean, all Stafford's going to throw to. Like the guys that I'm seeing on this team, I don't even know who they are. So like Tyler Johnson, like I mean, like pick them up in fantasy because if they're getting behind, the Rams are going to be throwing a lot.
I agree.
So on to the next one.
The next one's a weird one, man. Next one's weird.
Yeah, no, there's another little this man, Detroit don't look like Detroit right now. It trips me out because I was kind of all in on Detroit.
I don't know if last week said more about Detroit or said more about the Bucks. Like I really don't. Like I legitimate. I'm on Detroit here. So is Brad -3, but these Cardinals look good. This is another one. This is really the last like measuring stick game. And in my opinion, it makes 4. Like if the Cardinals compete or even keep this thing close, like they did with the Bills in Week 1, like we got to start having a different conversation about Arizona. But I do like Motor City Dan Campbell and the Lions to cover 3.
Yeah, and man, what's funny is we talked about Kyler Murray and he just reminds me of Lamar. It's just guys like this are just game changer. I think Detroit. This is a tough one. I like Detroit here. I do like Detroit here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Detroit.
At the Lions. Prime time Kirk Cousins 2 weeks in a row, man.
Yeah.
We get prime fucking time Kirk Cousins 2 weeks. Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites on the road. Chiefs and the referees on the road. Referees are taking their show on the road this week and going to Atlanta, but 3.5 points. Falcons big win on Monday night. I'd be lying if I told you I was going to bet this game. It scares me. I'm going to lean Chiefs. So is Brad. Where's your head?
I'm in the same boat, man. Unfortunately, I watched that Monday night game, and Atlanta just did not look good until the last drive. And then they threw three. I think it was 4 total passes, 2 of them for over 25 yards each. It w- I don't. I think Philly had that game locked, man. There was some mismanagement plays. There was some mistakes. I think Philly got a little too cute, just like Kyle Shanahan does all the freaking time. You can't get cute in the NFL, man. It's not college. You just got to go out, smash mouth, do your job, score points, and move along. I like the Chiefs here.
I do too.
Sorry, Kirk Cousins. I love Kirk Cousins. Guy's awesome, dude. Just your normal American dude that plays NFL quarterback.
Yeah. This one right here, we have a Monday night doubleheader this week. So you got Jaguars at the Bills. Bills getting 5.5 points. Or sorry, not getting. Bills are 5.5 point favorites. Jags are getting the 5.5 points.
Bills are too good, bro. Sorry. I like Josh Allen. So I'm taking Bills here.
I love the Bills. They're my Super Bowl pick, and they still are my Super Bowl pick. But I like the Jaguars too. And they're 0-2. And I think this is a fork in the road game for them, man. Like they either win or compete or show signs of life this week, or this is going to be the first coach that gets fired this year. Like legitimately, Doug Peterson has a chance of being fired. So like, I don't think Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are going to go down. I think they're going to go down swinging. I like the Jags to cover the 5.5. I don't know. I still think the Bills probably win, but I'm going to take the Jags plus 5.5 against the Bills. I
like it.
They're a better team. I like it to be a 4-point game. Maybe it's 27-23 Bills, something along those lines. So I do like the Jags.
This is another. Oh, we gotta wait for old Brad.
Brad's on the Bills.
Bills. Okay, got it. This is another game that's 8 points for the Commanders. Man. Jaden Daniels, I know he's young. He's obviously the rookie. I think the Bengals at 0-2 have to make a statement game. Like they should be 1-1. We can conversate that, right? But they go to 8's a big number, man. And Washington is. I don't know. Where are you at here? I got to think about this one for a little bit.
Well, where I'm at here is that Joe Burrow just hasn't been good.
Yeah.
And I really like the run game for the Commanders. And so I'm on Commanders plus 8 here.
Yeah, I think that
Brad's on the Bengals.
It makes me nervous what happened in week 1 against Tampa. It makes me nervous. If Joe Burrow comes back out and he's like, boop, I'm Joe Burrow again, this could be a massive 49-14 game, just absolute rain, hail, touchdown pass. Because that's what I think they'll do. And Cincinnati has shown that they're not scared to run the score up because that's just Joe Cool and this is what they like to do. I am with you, though. I think Jane Daniels might have a little sneaky fun game here. And I think the Bengals win, but I think it's closer than people think it's going to be. I like the Commanders here plus 8.
I like the run game for the Commanders. I like that they have Brian Robinson who's playing well, running the ball well. I like that they have Eckler out of the backfield. I think this isn't so much about Daniels. It's more about Joe just hasn't looked himself. And until I see Joe looking himself, I can't bet them to win by 9 or more. I just can't do that. So I'm not laying money on -8. Now, if this was 6.5, I think I'd take it all day. But I can easily see them 27-20, 24-17. I can easily see that happen. And I'm not saying it's going to be neck and neck. Like I can easily see it being 27-13. Washington gets a last-minute touchdown, make it 27-20. Like, I just think this is going to be closer, and I can't lay money on Burrow. And Burrow just hasn't looked that good, if I'm being real. So,
yep. Well,
that's it.
It's going to be a exciting week for football. Hopefully, we'll have Brad back next week, and not the crying Dolphins. But if the Dolphins win, Brad said he'll come back. From what I heard, that's just a rumor on the block, though.
Word on the street. Word on the street.
But I need my Niners to make right. Raiders are going to go in there and do their thing, and hopefully Miami does.
Home opener, baby. Home
everybody,
opener. I'll be there.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, we're talking, spreads. We're not betting. If we bet money, we do. If we don't, we don't. But at the end of the day, if you bet money, you're probably going to lose. You're not going to make millions, I promise. Other than that, thanks, guys, for joining. Have a good one, and we will catch you on the absolute flip side in that weekly bean bet. Go check it out. Later.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope you join us again. If you could, please give us a like, subscribe, or follow at any of these social medias right here. And if you have any questions or concerns or something you want to discuss, please send us an email at tiltedpodcast24@gmail.com. Thanks, and have a great day.